Hey, folks, good morning and welcome to another episode of Steelers Morning Rush. I'm Alan Saunders. It's Wednesday, November 26th. The Pittsburgh Steelers have their first practice of Week 13 today, UPMC Rooney Sports Complex. I'll be there a little bit later along with Ed Thompson. More coming out of that locker room along with Zachary Smith on the afternoon drive here about 6 o'clock. I got a great question here that I want to get to from Mick Carter yesterday. And Mick said, Alan, can you explain why did the Steelers get away from the two high safety cover two shell and go straight back to their normal single high safety defense that caused them to get roasted all season? I understand the run support using Malik Harrison, but the Bears sure took advantage of that all game. What I don't understand is after the Steelers defense just played their best games this season, beating the number one rushing offense Colts and the number one most potent offenses in the league Bengals, it's like Tomlin and TA overthink the strategy. Great question, Mick. Great topic for Whiteboard Wednesday. Let's have at it. And so the Steelers did run a lot of cover two over the last couple weeks. They also were very specifically running a version of cover two called cover two invert. And we talked about this, but we'll just very quickly kind of go back over the highlights of it. And wow, my pen is not doing so hot. Let's change to brown. Cover two invert means that the corners have deep zones here. The safeties buzz to the flats. The linebackers and the nickel are in the middle. Okay. It's still a zone defense. It still requires your linebackers to cover. Okay. In zone coverage underneath. The difference between this and maybe a traditional cover three zone is that you are effectively double covering each outside receiver. You have a short player and a long player for each outside receiver. Okay, whereas cover three, same alignment, has one. Okay, nobody can help these outside corners. Now, there are underneath zones. You'll have three underneath zones the same, but there is only one player here. So this has to be bail, which means that this slant is wide open. This is what Jamar Chase killed the Steelers with, okay, against the Bengals in Cincinnati. Why is this better for what the Steelers were doing against the Chicago Bears than the cover two? Well, first and foremost, the Bears play a lot of two tight end, okay? So you are taking this nickel DB off the field and you're replacing him with the third linebacker when the Steelers were in 4-3 or a strong safety, whichever, okay? So third linebacker there. And as you can see, so now you're bringing your strong safety down the box. And this cover three, look, the Bears do not run a lot of deep, okay? They don't. They're not a deep passing team. They did beat the Steelers with a deep pass, but they're not a deep passing team. Most of it's underneath. So in here, you're basically replacing this strong safety here. You're changing your focus from double covering outside receivers to the primary focus of the defense being in the middle of the field, okay, and against the run and against the pass. I think the idea to go single high and bring your safety down to the box against the Bears is almost obvious. I doubt very many teams have run a lot of cover two against the Bears. I think the difference is, as you mentioned, Malik Harrison played a lot in this game. Not a very good cover linebacker. Also, when the Steelers go 1-3, their spot drop cover three can be very predictable. I also just saw lots of guys getting away from their rules. Things like on a 3rd and 5, dropping 10 yards. Like that's no one should be doing that. That was at the end of the first half. Things like, okay, if you do get 4 verticals out of cover three, okay, the safety has to middle the middle two. Or you have to make a check telling the corner to middle these two, and the safety will go this way, one way or the other. Okay? They didn't do that. So it's a combination of some of this stuff being not great schematically and guys not playing well within the scheme. I think a single high look playing man would have made much more sense. I don't think these Bears receivers are all that good. If you take Malik Harrison off the field, I think Queen and Wilson can man just about anybody. And so I really think this is mostly about the Steelers really wanted to stop the run. They knew they were sacrificing some in the past to stop the run. They didn't think that Caleb Williams could beat them deep often enough to make them pay for that choice. And he did. That's really what it comes down to. And when he did it, it was times when they were in a pretty obviously bad defense for the situation. Like I said, dropping 10 yards on 3rd and 6, failing the middle against 4 verts. Like staying in cover 3 against trips. Like the Steelers were just in the wrong play call. This isn't a bad idea most of the time, but you can't be in cover 3 against trips in the high red zone and not make any kind of check to this coverage and just let them go downfield with 4 verticals. You just can't do it. So you either can't call that there against this personnel group, because let's be honest, that wasn't really a place where you should be super concerned about the run in the first place, or you've got to be able to check out of it, or you've got to execute better. And like, you can't be a defense that can only do one thing. You can't be a defense that says, we're going to run cover 2 all the time. It's too, there is no defense that is not easy to take advantage of if you know it's coming all the time. Certainly, with the Steelers, personnel, where, like James Pierre's out there, you're only going to do so much with him, right? And so, I didn't think the idea to go single high was bad. I would have probably wanted to play more cover 1 than cover 3. And if you are going to play cover 3, you've got to find the checks and the calls to get out of it when you're presented with its weakness, and then they just got to execute it better. Honestly, like, here's the thing. You can make a bad play call and execute it well and get the result. It'll still be a bad play call, but it doesn't have to cost you the rep. You can check it. You can play that play call as well as it can be played. They're not doing any of that. And so, like I said before, multi-layer failure. There's nothing wrong with calling cover 3 as a defense, certainly against a heavy rush team. And they did stop the run for most of the game. But it has obvious vulnerabilities against the pass that they were not able to address in this game. And if you're not able to address it, then you probably should stop calling it. You probably should go play man. And I understand not wanting to blitz Caleb Williams. Find another way to play man without blitzing. Like there's play a spy. If you really, I mean, they've done that before. They did against Jay Daniels last year. So, yeah, the idea to get away from cover 2 against the Bears makes a lot of sense. It's just what they did when they did that and how they executed it that led to the problems on Sunday. All right. Apologies for the late episode today, but I do believe we are past our technical difficulties. If you guys are still having issues on Spotify or Apple or anything like that, please let us know. Until next time, we'll see you on the afternoon drive about 6. Until next time, thanks for listening, thanks for watching, and enjoy.